When I first heard about the Grasp Surfskate trucks that looked like a similar kind of design to the Carver CX system, I thought, there are so many variations of this already. Is there really anything that's going to improve on what's out there? And I wasn't that interested to try it out. But an interesting phenomenon, everybody that I knew who had tried them were just raving about these trucks as being kind of the be-all, end-all surfskate truck that you needed. And it included some people that I really respected as surf skaters, so I needed to try it. Someone was selling a pair, and I ended up buying some. And eventually, Grasp reached out and asked if I'd be interested in trying one of their completes. I definitely was interested, so today I'm going to come and bring you a review of the Grasp Pado Surfskate Trucks, as well as a review of their Wave Breath 33-inch complete surfskate. Let's quickly go through the specs, starting with the deck, and this is a really fancy design, and it's something that I was curious about trying because I've had mixed experiences with decks that use something other than wood. So you can see this uses a lot of technology in the deck, and I wasn't sure how that was going to react, so I was really intrigued to try this out. The specs of the deck, it is 33 inches in length, it's 10 inches wide, it's got a 16-inch wheelbase, and it's got a lot of concave. And for me, I really appreciate having a nice amount of rocker in both the tail and the nose. I would have appreciated a little bit longer nose like the whitetail whale shark, but this is still enough that you can do nose manuals and get your feet locked in. So the fancy deck construction with the layers of carbon fiber and bamboo and things like that, I was a little bit suspicious of because boards I've used in the past that use something other than wood felt kind of really flexible and not that much pop, but that is definitely not the case with this board. It just springs off of the ground when you pop into an ollie or something. So it definitely is exceeding my expectations here. I found it very lively. Whether this will last long term or not, I'm not sure, but I can spring into ollies super easy with this deck, and I've been very impressed with it from that component, yet it still feels stiff. Also, there is enough nose, as I mentioned before, to be able to do things like nose slides and that, and the really slick surface on the bottom slides very well. So really pretty impressed with the deck itself. Next, let's talk about the trucks, and like the deck, when I first look at it, I thought this looks like something that's over-engineered to look fancy, but how is it going to perform? One thing I really like, you can see that the kingpin is tucked away, so you can grind on these without hanging up on the kingpin, unlike the CX. And the bushings on them feel quite soft. You can see how much range of motion you get from this. So it's similar in design to a CX, but it feels very different when you're riding this. But the very first time I took these out onto the street to try them, I knew that Grasp were onto something good. Because this board is so nimble and easy to turn. Look at these 360 turns I can do, going all the way around within like a meter square area. It feels like a spring-based system, but it's a bushing-based system like a CX. I've never been on a pair of trucks that feel this loose and carvy and divey that are bushing based. So you get some of the advantages of having the durability of a bushing based system over a spring based system. It's a little bit lighter than some of the spring based systems, and you don't have to worry so much about damaging your stuff when you're doing grinds and things like that. But just, it's so nimble, like I can't even explain it. I don't know if you can tell from this video, but the feeling is just incredible. We'll come back to the trucks, guys. I wanted to quickly mention the wheels. They work fine. They're 70 millimeters, so a bit bigger than I would usually use, but they felt fast enough. They slid well. The only thing is they did start chunking on me pretty early with that square lip, so it's something that you'd probably want to upgrade eventually, but for stock wheels, they're not bad. Okay, for the Flatland section, I wanted to highlight something here. It's a little bit of a narrative format because this has become my favorite commuting board. And I want to show you how the Grasp board makes commuting fun and easy. I find that the board pumps so well, but it's also stable enough to be able to kick push well. It's fairly light and low, so I found that using this board to get to and from work has just made it so much fun. I can pump well, I can do snaps. There's these little banks on my way home where I can do, snaps on the bank. It works well in different textured terrains. There's this little kids play area on my way home. And it feels super fun, like riding on this textured tile going across. The Grasp it pumps and carves really well. It goes over different terrain without any difficulty. This wheelbase just seems that perfect mix of good for cruising, but still good for more rad stuff, like doing ride-on 50-50 grinds. And the trucks, as I said, without the kingpin sticking out, just grind like butter. It goes downhill well, you can scrub speed with snaps and slides easily, and it's just a pleasure to ride. I find the lightness of that advanced technology in the board keeps the weight low, even though it is a wider and larger board. So I had no problem, even with the backpack, getting a wall ride in on my way home. I told you before how nimble this board is at carving, and you can see how easy it is to push and carve and get through the crowds that were coming for a concert on my way home. And people were not really respecting the bike lanes, and this board had no problem navigating through. So whether it's for commuting or just for shredding and pumping on the Flatland, even getting in some unconventional stuff like doing some sloppy grinds, I was incredibly impressed by the Grasp Surfskate system. Both the trucks and the Complete worked very well for me, and I would say this is one of the best Flatland riding boards you can get. Let's switch over to Skatepark performance, and here is somewhere where over and over again I would see on forums and on message boards people saying you need to use Carver CX in the bowl, you need to use Carver CX in the skatepark, and I never understood it because I didn't really love the Carver CX in any circumstance until I started using the upgraded bushings, which made it feel a lot more lively. But two big things to say about the Grasp system is that it already feels like you have upgraded bushings with the stock bushings that come with it, because you get that extra lean, and it also has the kingpins that don't stick out past the hanger, so you can do carve grinds with no issues of hang-ups. The lightness of the deck and the concave helps it keep it to your feet when you're trying to do airs and flyouts. So it feels really comfortable with that. You've got a wide landing base when you get to the bottom. And like I said, I was surprised at the pop you can get from this. So you can get good snaps. I can do wall rides on it. It just kind of did everything better than I expected. This board became one of the boards I really looked forward to taking to the skate park. Even on doing the spine transfer, it was one of the boards that had the least likelihood to hang up going over the edge. The back truck just slipped over with no problem. Slides well, it carves well, it pumps well, it goes well on transition, it goes well on the bowl. Just when people talk about how you need the CX for riding in bowls and skate parks, I feel like this is the actual experience that they were thinking about. And for me, the Grasp has done what the CX should have done. And this is, I think, the best all-around bushing-based system that I've tried so far. Next thing I want to do is talk about the trucks themselves on a different setup. So here I've got the Grasp trucks on my whitetail whale shark with Surfskate Love 83A wheels. And this setup just flies. This I think is going to be my new favorite setup. So I like the Grasp deck, but the board, the shape was a little bit off from what I like. I love the tapered tail of the whale shark. I love the full nose that it has. So when I paired it with the smooth flow and turning ability and predictability of carving of the Grasp trucks, the easy grinding, it just works so well on the snake run. So I think this is going to be one of the regular setups that you see me using in my rotation. I've been filming for a video part, and there's a few clips where you see this board come into play. So If you have a preferred deck that you like, definitely don't hesitate to throw the Grasp trucks on it. You can definitely use a shorter wheelbase and have them work well. Like I said, the stock complete is 16 inches, the Whale Shark is 16.75. It has a perfect snappy, flowy feel. So in conclusion, I am so glad that I took the chance and bought those Grasp trucks, because these are definitely going to be a new go-to for me. I think for anybody who is used to riding something like a Yow or a Swelltech and are looking for that really divey, surfy feel, but in a bushing-based system that has kind of the versatility and durability of a bushing-based system, this is going to be the one you're going to want to check out. Hope you found this useful, guys. I really appreciate you watching. I know that I've not had as much content on YouTube recently because I've really put in so much effort into my Patreon channel, my new project, the Surfskate Underground. It's really taken off, and I appreciate those who subscribed. I have put out a ton of great content there. It would mean a lot to me if you go check it out. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial with no strings attached. I'm not going to feel any resentment if you sign up and then cancel. So I just want people to check it out because I think there's some really useful resources there. As that gains some traction, I'm going to get back to trying to post more regularly on YouTube, but I'm really trying to grow that now. So I appreciate your guys' understanding, recognizing that I'm hoping to eventually, be able to kind of pay for some of the costs that go into making this great content. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful.